Hello everyone, Nightmare Nemo here, and welcome to Scary Town, the Goosebumps and Fear Street review show. I'm your host, Nightmare Nemo, and this week we're going back to the classic Goosebumps series with Piano Lessons Can Be Murder. And it says, play it again, hands. And there's the back. It says, practice till you drop dead. And if you have a keen eye, this is actually one of the reissued covers a while back. So it was not first edition. So that's why there's you can always tell the reissues because they have a special blue border, or a special colored border around the actual cover. This was not a book I was really looking forward to reviewing. It's just never really, the idea behind it just never really caught my eye. It didn't seem all that interesting, and it's not something that I knew a whole lot about either. So it's just kind of, it's in that realm of like, I don't really know anything about this, and I don't know if this is going to be any good. So I mean, just the title alone is just like, piano lessons can be murder. Like, I don't see how there could be a good story behind, a horror story behind piano lessons. So I don't know. So that's my story going into it. And the story revolves around Jerry. I didn't really like her as far as a protagonist, because she's like one of those kids that like in the other Goosebumps stories, there's always like the annoying sibling or the stupid annoying kid, and she is that kid because she plays a lot of pranks on her family, especially her dad, and nothing to really like about her. And it, from the get-go, like, she plays a lot of pranks and is really annoying. And it's not until the actual the meat of the story, the horror starts to come into the story, where that part of her personality is a bit toned down because she's distraught with what's going on in her house and with the piano lessons. So let's get into what the story's about. So obviously piano lessons are going to be involved. Jerry and her family move into this really nice two-story house. You can tell they're like a pretty wealthy family because this house is like really big and it has plenty of empty rooms. That there's like, they have enough rooms for themselves to sleep and live in. There's a couple of extra rooms where they don't know what to do with. And the real horror starts when they find an abandoned piano that was left behind by whoever the previous residents were, and she starts playing around with it, and she's like, oh, it might be cool to learn the piano, And then every night there's this piano music being played. It's a sad tune, and Jerry goes down, and in the first couple times she goes down to investigate, like who's playing his piano, what's going on, and she's the only one that hears this music. It's very strange. And so the first couple times she goes down to investigate, there's no one there, but she notices that the seat by the piano is warm. So it's like, okay, if somebody was obviously here, but conveniently they're not there. And eventually it gets to the point where she meets this ghost that's playing the piano, and the ghost warns her to stay away, and this is her house. And then the piano lessons start, and the piano lessons are done by this portly fellow he's described as kind of like, he looks kind of like Santa Claus. He's got this white beard, and he's jolly, and he's, generally a nice person to be around. And his name is Dr. Shriek. A very Goosebumps name to have. And everything's going like fine. He's like teaching her the basics of playing the piano, like the scales and learning the notes and stuff. But there's like a billion times where he remarks that like, oh Jerry, you have like good hands. There's like, those hands are really nice. You know, like, you know, it's you know, I mean, like it's creepy, but it's like it's keeping with like learning the piano. You have to have good hands and to stretch out and get the notes down. And you know, if you have like short, stubby hands, it's gonna make it playing the piano harder. So, you know, she takes it in stride, like, okay, this is cool. And eventually she goes on to other side of town and like this weird, creepy, kind of like haunted brick and building where is like there's no like sign that's a place where people go to take piano lessons. And she goes there and then she meets this mechanic who like builds like these weird inventions, and then the story kind of goes off there and things get even worse. And so I would just say like overall this book is very strange. I mean, at the beginning of this video saying like I didn't understand how this was going to develop into a horror story. And it does, because what is revealed at the end, the big reveal, and there's more than one, and what you see is what you get. I'll just say that as far as a hint at what one of the reveals is. And it's pretty disturbing once you actually think about like if you think too much about it, it's really, really messed up. But it kind of goes into the thing where like Earl Stein has been quoted saying that you can go full on with like the horror and as much disturbing and messed up stuff as long as you ground the reader with the fact that none of this is real, and there's enough humor and goofiness to it that you can really go full tilt with terrorizing the reader. And those, like I said, like if you really think about the stuff happens at the end of the book, it's really pretty dark. But there's enough silly stuff that happens that, you know, it balances out. So I will say this is definitely worth a read. Some of the aspects of the plot are a little hard to believe, but if you can look past that, it's definitely worth reading. It's definitely a very strange title. So yeah, definitely if you're looking for something that's, you know, kind of out of the general like standard kind of tale that you're used to in Goosebumps, definitely check this one out. So alright, so that's all I have for this week. Piano Lessons Can Be Murder, definitely worth checking out. And I mean, it's unusual. It was definitely a pleasant surprise for me to read. So definitely check it out, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.